Friday, people. Friday. Gotta love Fridays, don't you? Whether it's the last day of your work or if you work over the weekend, Friday still feels really good. I'm certainly excited about the day, and I hope you are too. How did you go yesterday with my thought on meditation? You may already have your own meditation practice, which is great. Make sure you leave your comments. What do you do to meditate? I actually did this meditation session yesterday afternoon. I did my breathing exercise in the morning. And then I did this meditation. I thought I'll just give myself 15 minutes, and I went and sat on the back lawn, and I was meditating, and always just refocusing my energy on my breath. I've got this kind of mantra now that one of my mentors uses, and that's just release. You just keep saying release over in your head. Anyway, I was sitting there doing that, and then I got distracted. My chooks, I've got 4 chooks, and I let them free range a little bit from time to time. And I was sitting there in quiet silence, and they just started to gravitate towards me. And it was kind of a beautiful moment. It distracted my attention, that's for sure, but I just opened my eyes and sat there and just enjoyed the peace of my backyard and the chooks walking around, pecking for food. It was quite pleasant. So anyway, if you haven't started a meditation practice yet, give it a go. I challenge you to maybe download an app or jump on YouTube, or even just sit there today for 5 minutes and pause and just try and maybe focus on your breath or count to 10 over and over again. Whatever it is, give it a go. I'm sure it'll make a big difference. Now today, what I want to talk about is part of your morning routine, inspiration. And so what do I mean by inspiration? I mean by putting some good stuff in, yeah? Generally, when you eat good food, you have good output. And it's the same with what we consume. And I talked at the start of the week about turning off the distractions. Don't going towards your device in the morning. And I probably didn't elaborate on that enough, but if you wake up and you're turning on the TV or checking your phone, checking your messages, checking your emails, whatever it might be, if you're doing those things, it's actually taking your attention away from your morning routine. So that's why I suggest don't do it. You have to have your boundaries, and you have to have your own boundaries as well. So put those things away and give yourself that 20 minutes, half an hour, 2 hours, whatever it is in the morning, where you're just focused on your morning routine. And part of that is switching off that negative energy, the negative consumption that we're surrounded by daily, and trying to find some good inspirational material to consume. So rather than turning on the news in the morning, which I used to do all the time, I used to sit there, and after a while, once I started realizing what I was doing, it was just so repetitive and so negative, and there was nothing I could do about it. It was just there every single morning, and it really got me down. And inspiration or motivation, positivity came into my life, and it actually came through in a point of my life. I was working with this massive home improvement store. I was a founding member, very exciting company. I was a founding member down there in southeast Queensland, and I was responsible for recruiting over 200 staff for this particular store. And these were some of the most beautiful people you'd ever meet, just lovely, lovely people. And it was so exciting. I got to train every single one of them through the company processes and procedures. I got to integrate them into the company, and we got to open that store together. It was the first opening of that store in Australia. So it's quite exciting times. Things changed after a year or 2 years of operations, and nothing to do with the people necessarily. I believe it was more upper management. I'm not here to shed blame, but it started to become this place that was a little bit negative, and it started to affect me in a big way. And I started to notice more and more that negativity that I was surrounded by started to rub off, and I started to adopt behaviors that really weren't taking me anywhere. They weren't behaviors that were giving me a sense of growth or satisfaction, even though they sort of helped. It seemed to help in the moments, and you probably know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I got introduced to this guy, David T.S. Wood, and something about him. Every morning I'd plug in his podcast. That's when I started to do my morning exercise as part of my morning routine as well. Slow start, so a few days a week is typically what I got before I waned, but then I'd get back up again and I'd get back into it. But that motivation, that piece of inspiration from David Wood every morning in the podcast really got me pumped. It got me in a positive mindset for the day, and I was still working in that place where I had all that negative energy around me. That positive inspirational part of my morning really played out through my day, and it allowed me to sort of drown out the negative noise and just really be present and be positive and try and put my own positive energy back into it rather than focusing on all the negative. And that it absolutely changed my life. David Wood was actually the inspiration for me starting the Hidden Why podcast. And I started to vision myself starting this podcast and having David Wood as my very first guest, which he was. So look, inspiration can change your life. It certainly can change anyone's life, but it can change your day as well. So waking up in the morning, and that could be a motivational podcast. It could be a podcast that's kind of triggered towards what you do, your career, something that's educational and uplifting, because that will inspire you as well. It could be simply reading some text from the Bible if you're religious, or maybe some philosophical text. I certainly like to do a little bit of that in the morning sometimes. I'll just pick up and read a chapter. Something that gives you an uplift, makes you feel good, makes you feel a little bit more positive about the day, will certainly start your day off in the right direction. So that's my motivational thought today. What are you doing this morning to fill your day, fill your morning with inspiration that will carry you through a positive mindset through the rest of the day? Think about that. There's plenty of great podcasts out there that you can tune into. Hopefully my message here gives you a little bit of inspiration. And if you do like this message of inspiration, make sure you follow us on YouTube. I'm going to start putting up more content there as well. I'm going to start mentioning this more as well on these Facebook chats. So if you want to follow us on YouTube, there's stuff there for my podcast. There's stuff there for this inspirational stuff. There's stuff there for real estate agents too. So depending on where you're coming from, make sure you check it out at Leigh Martinuzzi on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to my channel. Cheers, have a great day.